This is the Third Place Podcast, recording from the JLP CPA-sponsored studio. I'm Brian Dolan, and where did she go? It's Lauren Cuevas right there.
Home is your first place, work is your second place, and this is your third place, where the Christian community gathers.
Today we're joined by an attorney, not because we have a problem, but because he is our friend and he's a local attorney. He's founder of Mulhall Zion LLC, a cute little boutique law firm here in Northeast Ohio. I know. Nathan Zion, welcome back to the show.
Yay!
Thanks. Getting cuter by the minute.
Yes! And we just totally went with it. We're like, oh, he means cute. That's nice.
We need to drop that name. We need to drop boutique. We need to say something else.
Well, can you remind us, it's not a cute shop with girly things in it.
Correct. Boutique just means like you practice in limited areas. You're not
Did Kathleen not
a
say this
full-service
when you guys
law
were thinking about naming it this?
It's not a name. It's just like a descriptor.
Well, she didn't
a
say anything.
description of that. No.
She knows what a boutique is.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we all know what a boutique is, but when it comes to the law practice, you'll see lots of law firms now. If you pay attention and Google a lot of law firms, you'll see, ooh, boutique intellectual property firm. Ooh, boutique whatever else.
And see us regular people without our Juris Doctorate or whatever it's called. Is that what you have?
Yeah.
When we don't have that, we just picture you all in a cute little storefront.
I'm sure, right? Everyone
Yes.
thinks of a lawyer in a cute little
Yes.
Mulhall
all
Zion LLC,
in a
and
cute
there's
little shop.
like little trinkets in there.
Yes,
And then there's also like, oh, do you have a law problem? Come on back. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a boutique. But that's
a
not why
boutique.
you're here. We're going to talk a little bit about Christians and lawsuits. There's a specific scripture about that we're going to get to in just a minute. But major life events happening in the personal lives of Attorney Zion and Lauren
Attorney
Cuevas.
Thank you.
Honorary attorney. Yeah.
Honorary attorney.
So your son yesterday, when we recorded this,
Yes.
had his very first day of kindergarten.
Yes, correct.
How's mom doing?
I'm okay. It was emotional, but I'm okay.
So tell us about the day, and then we're going to dig in a little bit.
Okay. We did drop off, so they're like, go to this back parking lot. You can't turn on, because it's like all 5 grades trying to do drop off at once. So kindergarten drops off at a specific place. But then we get there and it's like, okay, there's no like teachers around. He's not going to walk across the entire blacktop alone, go find the exact right door and stay in the exact right line for 5 minutes while they wait.
Right.
So I was like, okay, just drop me off. I'll go out with him and walk over there, that's just what it's going to have to be. There's no like teachers along the way. Anyways, so
Already breaking the rules.
there's every parent is over there. What 5-year-old is going to go wander to door 4 and stand in line 3 by himself?
I totally agree. Yeah.
So we do that. He stands in line. It was great. Every parent is crying. All the parents.
Really? There was a lot of tears?
Oh, yes. Moms, dads, everybody.
You included?
Yes.
Okay.
I held it together until I walked away, obviously.
And see, people don't picture you as a crier, but I mean, you have emotions. You're a human being.
Yes.
Would you call yourself a crier?
No. But I do cry.
In certain circumstances.
Yes. Commercials. And sad TV shows.
I didn't expect you to start with that.
Yeah.
So how did you hold it together when everybody else was weeping?
I didn't want the judgment, so I held it together until I walked away.
And then
And then I got in the car and was crying, and Eddie just tapped my knee.
he tapped your knee?
Little tap.
So you don't want a big
No, I don't.
smushy hug at that moment. You just don't
Yeah,
touch me. I'm
just
crying.
let me gather myself. Because then I had to go drop off Ellis at daycare and see our daycare person, and I don't want to be like sobbing when I see her, so
So it wasn't ugly cry. It
it
was.
was just some nice tears.
What about Eddie?
Gentle
He's an
tears.
emotional guy. He was just fine with it all. He's like, good
He
riddance,
didn't even
kid.
cry on our wedding day, so no, he didn't.
Wow.
I mean, he was
Okay.
emotional, but he didn't cry. So
I can relate to that. Yeah.
dropped him off on the side of the road, and he walked home. I took Ellis to
Wait.
daycare.
What did you do with
I
Eddie?
dropped him off on the side of the road.
You're like, get out.
Yes.
You're not crying. Get out of my car.
No, because I didn't want to drive all the way back home and then drive to daycare
Oh, gotcha.
house. So he just walked the rest of the way home.
Okay.
And then Eddie went to the store and got a bunch of like little gifts and stuff for Trey and set up a little welcome home thing.
So we're going to get to that guy over there in just a minute. But so explain the tears, because I know you cried a little bit during the day as well. So
Yeah.
we don't often get into Lauren Cuevas' heart. We get into her mind.
Yes.
So what are we crying about?
Well, now he has this entire life I don't know anything about. He has his own little world that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
His own little universe.
And he's
with
not a
his little
talker.
friends. Well, he is, but not about actual real life things.
He talks about stuff that you don't need to hear about.
Yeah, that I don't care about.
But if you're like, how was your day? He goes, it's fine. What did you do?
It was
Nothing.
fine. Or
At 5, he's doing that?
yes,
Oh, geez.
yes.
Good luck
It's
in 10
horrible.
years.
It's
Isn't
so
it great?
horrible. Preschool, he went to like half day, 3 days a week or whatever. What'd you do today? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did. So you ask like a little bit more, like, okay, what did you do at recess? What did you do? What did you color? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about this. Oh, okay.
It's private, Mom.
Yeah, it says private business. So it's just going to be even worse. So I asked as many questions at the end of the day as I like could without, pushing. And we took him out to ice cream, just him, before we went to go get his brother. So it was like special time with him. Just wouldn't budge. There was a little girl at the ice cream shop that's apparently in his class. He couldn't care less.
Did you lean over to listen to what she said about their day?
No, I should
You
have.
should have.
When we walked in, they were like looking at us. I was like, why are they staring at us? And then once we sat down, she came over with her mom and was like, you're in my class. And he was like, silence. He just like looked at her. I was like, Trey, can you say hi?
Yeah, she's a girl. She has cooties.
Can you
Thank
say hi? He's like, I don't know.
He's not there yet.
He
I
just
don't
is-
think, right?
Probably not there yet.
Yeah.
No, but so you're grieving the idea that he's going to have a whole part of his life you don't know about now.
Yeah,
for
and
the
he has
first time.
so much more time away from us. He did preschool, but it was half days. He was never at full day, and it wasn't 5 days a week. It was 3 days a week, and it was not even half days, like 2.5 hours. So
you kind of were grieving that it's a milestone. It's
Yeah.
a big milestone
yeah, he
in a
has this
parent's
whole
life.
tiny little life, and now he's in school forever and not at home.
And was that the extent of the grief, or is that and we're
Yeah.
fine now, or
I mean, no, I still like, I walked him to school this morning, and then I walked here, and I just like a little teary still, but
yeah, it's hard.
I know.
It's hard. Now, Nathan Zion, you're not just a stern attorney.
Oh.
You have feelings as
wouldn't-
well.
I wouldn't even classify myself as a stern attorney. But
No, you're not. He's very friendly. If you're looking for an attorney, he's very friendly.
yeah.
Your
But I have
oldest
a
son.
heart too. If
Yeah.
that's what you're getting.
Yes.
Not
Attorneys
a
have
cold,
hearts.
heartless attorney.
Well, your oldest son is just about to start kindergarten as well, almost the same age.
Yep, he's 5. He starts next week, and so we're going through kind of the same thing. He was already at a junior kindergarten, or pre-K, last year, so we've kind of experienced him being away for, I think it was 3 days each week last year. But this will be full time, so it'll be different. But he needs it, like for sure. He needs the social
Yes.
aspect. He needs to be with others, learning how to talk to other people, let
Yeah.
other people talk to him, and
That's so
he's
good.
he's the first, right? So he
Yeah.
calls the shots at home.
Yes, and there's also talk nonstop.
Yes.
Boss everybody else around.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you find out, oh, that doesn't really fly with like the rest of the world.
You find a
so
kid that's a little
good.
bit more strong-willed than you, and they're going to boss you
Which
around.
is great. Yeah, which is great. So yeah, we're in the same place. I think so. I have a younger son this will be his first year in a junior kindergarten class, and we're kind of grieving about that because he's going to be gone, I think 3 days a week, and that'll be the first. And
It's like the house is empty.
yeah. So
'Cause
my
you just
wife
have your
is
daughter left.
Yep, pretty much. So we're struggling with that because he's such a sweet little boy.
Oh, he's so cute and funny.
And we love like spending time with him and just watching him play at home and have fun at home and be with mom and all that stuff. And now it's going to change, and he's going to, like you said, have a separate life at school. Hopefully we'll hear about it. But yeah, and I found out with Everett,
He's your oldest.
my oldest, yeah, sorry. He has to, like, we have to ask a lot of questions. And I wouldn't worry about Trey is what I'm trying to get at, because I think things will come out as stuff
Yeah.
happens, right? As life happens, he'll say, oh, I did that with this person on the playground. And then you'll learn, oh, geez, all right, share more about that. And you kind of have to keep going on. But I had to learn how to be a really good questioner for him to pull stuff out.
Yeah, at
actually.
dinner he did start saying, there's this little string and there's beads, and every day one kid gets to put a bead on, and then once all the beads are gone, it's 100 days of school. And I was like, great. So when do you get to put your bead on?
And he's like, Mom, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, you ask one question, he's done.
Yeah, now, I hate to burst your bubbles, but I think it depends on the kid, in my experience at least, about how much they talk about their lives.
Could be.
I had a moment with my 20-year-old just yesterday where I was pressing her a bit. We were driving to meet the teacher night for my youngest, who's a 6th grader. And it was I was like, this is so cute. Older sisters, 20, driving. I'm in the back seat because I wanted him to have his little special front seat thing with his big sister. And I'm like, let's talk about your sixth grade, big sister. You know, tell them what sixth grade was like. Dad, just, no. I'm like, no, like sixth grade. Dad, I don't remember a lot about it. And then she's like, I don't want to talk about it, Dad, because I got picked on a lot in sixth grade.
Yeah, sixth grade is horrific for girls.
And I was like, oh, you got bullied? And she's like, yes. Oh, she didn't tell me. It's like the first I heard about it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Then I went to her mom and I was like, she got bullied in sixth. She's like, yeah. Well, so you told your mom, not your dad? What's that about? But I
think we know what that's about.
She got called, it's girls and their moms.
Yeah.
But she got called like stinky farm girl or something.
Oh, no.
And we lived in the suburbs. But she volunteered at a farm.
And now she really is a stinky farm girl.
I know. But I didn't know about it.
Oh, that's
She didn't tell me. And like my youngest Theodore, it's like, what'd you do today? I don't remember.
I remember.
You forgot?
I love that.
What was your best thing at school today?
Funniest thing that happened.
Tell me a funniest thing. Well, nothing funny happened. Okay, well, what's your favorite thing? Lunch. Okay, well.
Good talk.
Yeah.
Good talk. But maybe it's a generational thing too, though. Maybe you guys are younger than me. Maybe your generation has come up with the right questions. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bad question asker of children.
No, I don't think.
Well, I mean, it's a different type of questioning.
There's definitely a different skill. I mean, my wife is way better with our kids than I am as far as engagement goes. Like, I try my best, but I'm just not built to be, oh, hey, like, I don't know how to explain it. Converse with little kids easily, right?
I got it.
There's work. But at the same time, as they grow up, hopefully we'll fall into, a better, better communication style, all that kind of stuff.
You hope so.
Cut yourself some slack. I don't think it's you. I think it's just the nature of humans.
Well, yeah.
I think everyone's been struggling with it.
Oh, yeah, I think forever. And, this is where you get to that phrase that somebody taught me years ago, because parents put a lot of pressure on themselves for their kids. Sure. It's take your kids off your resume. It's like as much as we want to think we have control over the outcomes, and we try as best we can to set up parameters and get routines and have ideals, as hard as we try on that, really, we don't have as much influence as we think. Now, people get mad at me about that, but actually when you look at studies done on whether it's nature versus nurture or environment versus genetics or whatever, it's a heavy influence on genetics, very little on environment. Mm-hmm. And so I find that a lot of relief in that as my kids have gotten older. But that's part of, I think, the scary part of the milestone of kindergarten.
Yeah.
Is like you're starting a new phase of life and you just don't know how it's going to go. And you have those hopes and fears of like, I hope my kid is well-liked and not bullied, but I don't know. I hope my kid is, a homecoming king. But maybe he'll be like the biggest dork and he'll be head of the math club. You don't know.
Yep.
And you want what's best for him.
Yeah, I said to Eddie last night, we cheersed with a glass of wine. I said, we made it through one phase. We did the first phase.
You really did it.
We did the first phase.
I mean, think about it. People might poo-poo it because it's kindergarten, but you did 5 years. It's like 5 years of intense.
The very rigorous part.
Yes, nonstop.
Yeah.
And now you're
not
kind of
mentally rigorous, but like physically rigorous. I would say probably most rigorous time of a child's life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're handing him off to somebody else and a whole group of people that are going to see him more than you now.
Yep.
It's pretty wild. How you feel? You want to cry about that?
No. I'll cry my
I was
walk
kind of
home.
moving towards like the Barbara Walters moment
I'll
where you're
cry my
supposed to
walk
start
home
weeping.
alone.
Yeah. So do you think, will you be emotional at the first day of school thing, or is that more of a Kathleen moment? I'm sure Kathleen will.
We've done it. I'll probably do it this year again. Yeah, drop them off and everything. We take pictures as a family together.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be fun. I think I like it. I mean, it's kind of like the loosening of the grip, right? You have your family that you've. I mean, he doesn't meet anyone that I haven't. I don't want to say approved, but I haven't allowed him to meet, right? And then you get to school and you kind of loosen that up, and it's like I don't know
who's there.
Yep, I don't know who these kids are. I don't know what they're going to say. Some of the teachers we obviously know, but not all of them. Staff there, we don't know all of them, and so you kind of like loosen your grip. Yes. But it's kind of nice because, we've obviously we trust the school, right? And so it's kind of a fenced-in area that they can kind of play and expand, and then we'll come back. And then as years go on, and that grip will loosen until eventually, much like you and your oldest, right? There is no fence anymore. You're not in control of any of that.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a nice way to do that, but it comes with its own loss for sure.
Yeah, it's a phase. But there's also, by the way, there's a freedom in this. Have you guys felt that yet? Where, I mean, especially for you and Kathleen.
Yeah.
She'll have a couple of days a week. She's got one kid.
Yeah.
Easier to
mean-
do errands, do stuff around the house.
It's party time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not thinking
Well-
through that yet.
And I also think too, like, I don't want my kids to be exactly like me, right? And so getting outside of my home and seeing other people and
so true.
realizing that they can be like other people, do other things, find other activities
Mm-hmm.
that dad never does or whatnot. I don't know. That's kind of cool, and I look forward to that. That's kind of like an adventure for them
Yeah.
to be on in my eyes, and so I'm hopeful for it. But yeah, it does hurt a little bit. But I'm excited for my wife to get some free time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because the intensity of being a mom in her situation is so intense. And even though you're a working mom, it's the same, I think. There's just a little
There's
more pressure on
differences,
mom. So,
And you guys have gone above and beyond, because I think the usual, at least now, a lot of our friends put kids in daycare like pretty early, and they're, they got the dink lifestyle, the double income.
yeah.
And so they go to work like within 1 to 2 years after their kid's born, and then their kid's in daycare forever until school starts, right? So I think, like, my wife in particular is an oddity. Our situation's unique in that she was able to be with Everett for 4 years.
While still working.
Yes, while still working, but I mean, she was a full-time mom,
Yeah.
basically. So, which is special. I wouldn't trade that for anything, and all the money in the world, I wouldn't give that.
Well, and then you and Eddie, Lauren, managed to find a way to organize your work schedules where you were a half step away from being a full-time mom.
Yeah, well,
I feel like it.
Everett
that's
and
the
Trey
case.
were both born during COVID, so it's like a crazy time right at the beginning. Just everybody was at home.
Forced to be at home. Yep.
Yeah. So and in Chicago it was even much more shut down for a longer
yeah.
time. And so we were at home with Trey for 2 years, both of us. Working full time, but both just working from home full time.
Oh, difficult.
We didn't go back to the office for a long time. And then after that, I was like, I don't want to go back to work like all day. I want to be home with him more. And so
Yeah.
we figured out we were able to vary our schedules. I took a job in radio, so I was able to be home at noon. So we only had daycare for 3 hours a day.
It's huge.
It wasn't full day. The rest of the day I was with them. So
Yeah, well, new phase of life for both of you. I'm glad that you've got that moment. And before you know it, they'll be driving and telling you, acting like you're a big idiot because you don't know anything.
We'll
Yeah,
come to
yeah,
you
we'll ask
for
you for
how
your
do you
advice.
respond to that.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of those where, you always think before you have kids that once you have kids, you'll know what you're doing. And then once you have like toddlers, you think, well, I'll have this figured out when they become in school age. I still don't know what I'm doing. I still
it's the
feel
first time
like,
I've been a parent. It's the
Yeah.
first time I've been a parent of a kindergartner.
yeah,
Yeah.
I-
Just keeps doing that.
I apologized to my oldest daughter 2 times yesterday for her upbringing on 2 separate things. She'd bring some up and go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, it's okay, Dad. It's like, you just can't avoid it.
Yeah, it builds
No,
resilience.
and she'll do the same with her kids too.
Yeah.
I
Of course
think.
she will. She doesn't think so yet.
no,
but-
of course.
Yes, and we grow with our kids. I mean, that's the beauty of it. Is like I've never had a kid until my first kid, and then I'm learning. And 1 year in, I'm just 1 year parent, and then when you're 20 years in, you're 20-year parent. So
Yeah. If
you grow with it.
when they get to be 20, you're like, I've never had an adult child, so this is the first time I'm doing this.
Sarah says that phrase to
Yeah.
the
It's the
to
first
kids.
time I've had a 20-year-old.
It only works with the oldest one,
Yes,
though.
I know that's the
Yeah.
downside.
In my situation, it's like, you're only the third 16-year-old I've had to raise. How can I possibly know what I'm doing?
Well, they're a different person.
No, they really are. Yeah, oh gosh, it's a lot. Lauren and I want to take a brief moment before we continue today's episode to thank our sponsors. First of all, did you know I have a brand new morning show? That's right. It's called Uplifted Mornings with Brian. And our sponsor is Uplifted Stream from KHCB Media Group. We're so grateful for their sponsorship and their attention to my new morning show. Check it out weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. Central, 7 to 9 Eastern. We have a lot of music, worship music. We've got scripture. I have devotional thoughts, try to share some funny stories, dad jokes, Bible quizzes, things like that. For more information how you can listen to my new morning show on the Uplifted Stream, just go to upliftedstream.org. That's upliftedstream.org, or just download the KHCB mobile app. We also want to thank our sponsor, JLP CPAs. If you're a small business owner, you already wear dozens of hats. You don't want to have to worry about things like taxes, payroll, financial reporting, budgets, balance sheets, all those kinds of things. Let our friends at JLP CPAs take care of that for you. They're a firm focused on small businesses. They're a local Northeast Ohio company. And you ought to check them out so that you can focus on what you're good at in your small business. For more information, go to jlpcpas.com. Again, jlpcpas.com. And finally, we'd like to thank our friend David Safransky and Edgewater Investment Group for being a sponsor of today's episode. Have your finances been overwhelming? Are you stressed about your future? You should talk to Dave and his team at Edgewater Investment Group. They'll help you with things like budgeting, retirement, investing, and they'll be honest and straightforward. So you want more information about how you can get connected and get their help with your future financially? Go to edgewaterig.com. Again, that's edgewaterig.com. Thanks again to our sponsors, and now we'll keep going with today's episode. Okay, I want to shift gears, though, and talk a little bit about something with our attorney friend
Yes.
that comes up a lot in your practice because you're not a firm that only serves Christians, but because you're a believer and you're on our podcast and such, you encounter a lot of believers. And there's a sticky passage, I think, for a lot of believers. And Lauren's got it. And we want
Yes.
to dig into this with you, Nathan.
It's 1 Corinthians 6, starting at verse 1. This is the NLT. When one of you has a dispute with another believer, how dare you file a lawsuit and ask a secular court to decide the matter instead of taking it to the other believers? Don't you realize that someday we believers will judge the world? And since you are going to judge the world, can't you decide even these little things among yourselves? Don't you realize that we will judge angels? So you should surely be able to resolve ordinary disputes in this life. If you have legal disputes about such matters, why go to outside judges who are not respected by the church? I am saying this to shame you. Isn't there anyone in the church who is wise enough to decide these issues? But instead, one believer sues another right in front of unbelievers. I can keep going. Do you want me to keep going?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
To me, it would seem like anytime a Christian calls you with a dispute with another Christian, you should go, sorry, unbiblical, hang up the phone. But that's not
Email
what you
them
do.
the passage. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just your standard reply.
Now, as I'm hearing you read that, I'm listening for specific words. Sure. Now, I'm not trying to find a way out of it. But what I didn't hear in that passage is never sue another Christian. I didn't hear that. Am I crazy?
I think the tone suggests that.
The tone, yeah.
I mean, the way
I'm gonna look up
he's
another
like
version.
scathing in that writing. I think I'm writing this to shame you. How dare you do this? Don't you know that unbelievers
Yeah, he
aren't
did
going to
say.
inherit? And so, yes, I agree. The word "never" is not in there. I'm not reading Greek, but I still think the tone to them would be, "You better not do this because it's unbiblical."
And what I heard was at the beginning of it, he's shaming them for not trying to resolve it within the church first.
Yeah,
They're just running to the courts.
correct.
And I think it's also the level of dispute he's talking about.
Yeah,
It's ordinary disputes or
correct.
something, I think is the
Trivial,
phrase.
trivial.
Smallest cases.
Yeah, so this is not an issue of someone literally stealing your life savings or like a Ponzi scheme from Bernie Madoff. You just go, oh, just have all my money. Or someone murders someone and you can't. I mean, come on. I don't think it's that restrictive. I think he's chastising them for running to the courts without trying to solve a problem.
I would agree. I think there's a heart that he's trying to get at behind all of this. I think he's trying to point to people who don't evidence a desire to reconcile, right? I think that's the goal here is you guys are supposed to be unified and you're not. And instead, you're dragging each other into court and throwing threats and accusations against each other and fighting over things. That's not the way that we should act. We're the light in the world.
That's
we should
right.
be different than that, okay? Now, there's lots of layers to this. I mean, the context is completely different than our context today. They lived in a Jewish community where there were Jewish courts where they could go to, places like the Sanhedrin, and they ruled over and resolved disputes. We don't have anything
We don't have a
really
church
close
court.
to that. No.
Yeah.
I mean, if I do something wrong, I might be reprimanded by my church, taken out of leadership or something, and maybe the pastor will come to me and say, hey, confront me with a sin. But am I publicly, removed from any position? Am I publicly shamed? No, none of that happens. The only way it would happen is through like a court system that we have, or through the ethics rules that attorneys have. So we're in a different world than Paul is, writing to. So we're comparing apples to oranges a little bit, but I think the heart is still there of, should Christians really be knee-jerk reaction, I need to take this guy to court over X, Y, or Z, right? And I think you have to do a lot of soul searching, praying to figure out the Holy Spirit is behind that, and what he would lead you to. I do think another context is, who are you suing, right? In this passage, it's disputes between Christians.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with a lot of Christians who have disputes with unbelievers. So what does that mean? Should they not take them to court? Should they? I don't know if that makes a difference to you guys. It does to me.
I'm not sure it's part of that text. I would say, just off the top of my head, that the principle would still apply, that you shouldn't run to court first thing. I think...
So how many times? Do you send an email and say, hey, let's resolve this? No response a week later, you file a lawsuit?
I think it depends on the case. I think it depends on the situation. But I think the heart of what Paul's saying is you ought to try to resolve things peacefully.
Yes.
I mean, he says in a different passage, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And so we ought to give it not just a little effort, but a lot of effort to avoid going to court.
Well,
That's what it seems.
But even in that passage, he says that it's better to be beaten, be cheated, be weak. It's better for that than for you to get justice through the court system. And so even, I would say, he goes further than just first make attempts outside of court. I think he's saying it's better probably not go to court and say that you've cheated and show that you're cheated, but you're still a faithful believer. So I don't know, because I think of the studio, right? You rent this studio out. What if the landlord doesn't do what they should do? How would you approach that?
I mean, one of the challenges, of course, is economically, I can't just call you and be like, let's sue the pants off this guy, because I just can't afford it, right?
Sure.
And so oftentimes when you're not super wealthy, it's easy to not sue, because you just go, look, it's not worth the cost. I had a dispute with a landlord in Chicago when I lived there, and I knew he wasn't going to sue me because it would cost him more to recover what he thought he was owed, which he wasn't, than it would for him to just let it go. Yep. I knew he'd let it go.
Yep.
And I think a lot of us are in that type of position.
But that's a practical side of things. That's the money side of things.
So I'm avoiding the actual theological part because I don't.
Yeah, exactly. My question is, what do you think is the right thing to do from from God's perspective?
I think all things being equal, you should try to just see if you can move on with your life and not make a big stink about it.
I agree. What's the threshold then, though? So a minor rent issue, a couple $1,000s of rent or damage or something, okay, fine. Even $10,000. But you get in a car accident, right? You have someone who's injured to the tune of $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 of medical expenses to get their life back. Is that justified? Should you sue for that? Should you try to resolve? Should you go to the insurance company and say, hey, could you please pay us? And then when they say, no, I'll give you $5,000, do you just say, all right?
No, I can give you a practical circumstance and see if this fits with what we're saying. Okay, so years ago, Sarah and I had one kid. We had Grace. We were in a car accident with her in the car. Mm. And we were going to a brand new chiropractor who turns out, I think, was a little bit of... I like chiropractors. This guy was a little slick. It was almost like he was an ambulance chasing chiropractor. Ooh. When they found out we were in a car accident, they immediately contacted our car insurance company. And suddenly we were all getting adjustments. Grace was like an infant, and she was getting adjustments.
Little adjustments.
we were new in life, and we didn't know much about it. And so pretty soon I get a call a couple months later from the car insurance company. And they're like, hey, we'd like to settle this. I'm like, what? I said, can you send me information? It turns out they were charging outrageous amounts of money to adjust my infant. And I didn't realize how intense this had gotten. And so they said, let's settle. How much will it take for us to stop doing this? Sure. And my response was, nothing. Whatever you've already done, we'll call it a day. I don't want anything. I just want this to be over. And they were like, great, because they thought they'd had to pay me money. But I felt like I already somewhat had inadvertently taken advantage of the car insurance company. And I thought it would be somehow dishonest of me to take some sort of settlement. And so even though Sarah and I probably could have gotten thousands of dollars out of the deal, I didn't feel like it would be biblically ethical for me to do so. So we said, no, I don't want any money. I'll just stop treatments immediately.
Did you give the money back that you used?
No, I would have never been able to afford it. And they didn't ask me to do it. So, but that becomes an ethical problem of,
Yeah.
did I ultimately cheat the car insurance company unwittingly?
Yeah.
And did I really owe to pay them back? I don't know that they would have had a mechanism in place to do that, because I'm not certain anyone has ever done that.
Well, the chiropractor reaching out to them is absolutely crazy.
It's part of like how they make money sometimes.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Them reaching out on your behalf without you like having knowledge of it.
I think I gave them the information.
Okay.
I don't think it was they didn't cheat it. I was ignorant. Now, it's not a defense, but I was in my 20s. I'm like, whatever. A car insurance company? Yeah, maybe they'll help out paying for some of this. I was in a car accident. I'm a little sore here.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it had gotten so out of control.
Yeah.
Well, and in your defense too, I mean, this happens a lot. And who's on the other side? An insurance company, not a family, right? Or an individual. So in your defense, you're thinking like, oh, they've got deep pockets and they do this all the time. And they do, And so is something like this passage really applicable to that situation? I don't know. It is and it isn't. I think to your
somewhat.
heart.
It's the heart of it is what I'm saying, in that I think the Christian heart of it, I was trying to say that my godly conscience, my Holy Spirit conscience was saying, you cannot turn this into a cash grab from insurance company.
Correct.
You
Stop
need
taking
to
advantage.
end it. It needs to stop now, and you need to not reap any benefits from this more than you already have. And I think I was at least trying to draw on what I interpreted as that principle that Paul's talking about. We're not to walk around taking advantage of people. In fact, we should be known for our radical generosity. I should want the insurance company to hang up and go, ha, got that guy. Some big idiot didn't take money from us. What's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with me is Jesus, right? I mean, so that's kind of my principle behind it. And applying that more to what we're saying is, I think that's Paul's heart. I think with two believers, you should try to resolve it interpersonally. If you can't, honestly, especially if you're in the same church, you ought to bring it to church leadership. How can we resolve this issue that could be a legal dispute? Take it as far as you want. But what I think the reality is that in most cases, you can correct me on this, one of the two people is going to fall off the biblical train. And they're going to say, I don't want to resolve this with you anymore. And they become unreasonable. So now you have two Christians, and one is being unreasonable.
Have you seen a dispute between two Christians ruled on by a court or by a church?
Never.
The only thing I've ever seen a church handle is like membership issues, right? Or sin.
Sin issues.
Yeah, sin issues that obviously, like, you need to remove a pastor or remove a member because they're acting sinfully. Short of that, though, I've never seen any church, and the churches I've been a part of don't have any policy or a mechanism. Like, I've never been asked to be an arbitrator or a judge or anything or mediator on behalf of a church when there's a dispute between members. Never.
Do you think there should be something like that in place?
I would love for that to exist. I don't know that it's so there is something called the Institute of Christian Conciliation, which ICC, and that is like a third party neutral arbitration company, basically, and it's a nonprofit, but they will arbitrate your disputes. So if you and I as believers had a fight over something legal and we could go to court, we could instead choose to go to this ICC voluntarily and either mediate or arbitrate. And arbitration is like private court, basically. And we could do that. We'd have to agree to it. And then it would be kind of like they have their own rules to follow, but it'd be a judge that presides over it, an arbitrator. They make a decision, and then we live by it. It's binding upon us.
You agree in advance to submit to whatever their decision is.
Correct.
And so how is that different than suing? You know what I mean? Isn't just
Well, so the ICC, I haven't actually ever walked through a case before them, but they use biblical principles to kind of resolve. I think they try to escalate up to arbitration, right? So they try to mediate first. Where can we find common ground? Where can we resolve this, short of just, going full hog on litigation? But it does ultimately end with a judgment, and I don't know if they tamper that, they try to be more of a compromise, or they'd say, you're right, you're wrong, 100% yours, 0% mine. I don't know.
And would the difference be that it's a Christian judge and not
Correct.
a secular judge, which is what this
Before
passage is
believers.
talking about? Yeah.
Yep. So you're before someone who
Interesting.
believes and holds the same
Yeah. It's values and
values
morals.
that you do.
So ultimately, at the end of the day, if you have somebody trying to have you take them on as a client,
Yeah.
and they have a dispute with another Christian, will you take the case?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what that means. So there are a couple different ways that this dispute could end up, right? Oftentimes I resolve before litigation's filed. We threaten litigation and then it doesn't come to pass. Or we start litigation, we settle along the way. Or we start litigation, go all the way through. So would I take it on? Yeah, I usually rely on my clients and their stance towards the dispute versus my own. So in other words, I wouldn't say, I'll never represent you because I think it's unbiblical to sue a Christian. If a client who is a Christian believes that they're doing what's right by suing, then I could represent them. I don't really have an issue with that. Now, there could be a time when the Holy Spirit speaks otherwise to me, but no, I wouldn't turn it away. Now, I do tell clients who are Christians to think about it. And I cite this passage. And, I've had clients who I know will never sue, and they ask me for contracts and things like that. And at the end of the day, I'm asking them, to some degree, this is kind of a worthless piece of paper that you're signing if you're never going to enforce it.
Yeah.
So just know that going in, and they're usually okay with that because they believe people are going to stick to their word and that sort of thing.
That is kind of wild, isn't it? Like, why would Christians ever sign contracts?
Yeah.
If we're never going to sue.
Yeah.
And if we had that reputation of we're never going to sue you, we would
Correct.
just get raked over the coals.
Yeah.
We get taken advantage of left and right.
Yeah.
Because people are sneaky and horrible.
Well, and I'm on the inside of the court system a little bit. Like, I see more than obviously the average Joe does. And so I see the value in having a court system. And I don't think it's wrong across the board for a Christian to bring a lawsuit. However, I do think that there are certain instances where it is wrong and you shouldn't do that. And certainly when you know the other side is a believer, that's kind of another question. How do you know who the other side is? If you're in a car accident and you want to sue someone, is that the first question you ask? Oh, what church do you go to? Are you a believer? Oh, I shouldn't do anything.
What's
then.
your view on the virgin birth?
Yeah, no. So you don't get into that, and you likely wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
But you need to consider it for sure.
Take it very seriously. Sorry, go
this
ahead.
commentary says, the Corinthians should have been willing to be wronged and defrauded in order to avoid besmirching the name of Christ by attacking a fellow believer in secular courts. So I think it's more of like you need to be willing to be wronged and defrauded and say at the end, like, that's okay.
Well, and going off of that, I think when clients come to me, they often have different goals with litigation or a dispute.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's money. Sometimes I can't afford these medical bills, right? I need money.
Yeah.
That is a more defensible lawsuit, in my opinion. Then there are other clients who come to me and they just want the justice of it. They just want the other side to know that they've done something wrong. And maybe along with that is a vengeance kind of thing. Those cases are the ones that I would have a long, hard talk with them to figure out, is this worth pursuing? Because I ultimately believe that Jesus at the end of time will right every wrong. And I think that they need to be told, at least from me directly, that your justice here isn't exactly 100% justice. And so it might be better to be wrong, to be defrauded, knowing that at the end, God will right that wrong. And I know that hurts and people don't like hearing that, but that's just firmly what I believe. And so I would rather take it up on the cheek and walk away than, or on the chin, I guess is the phrase, right? Take it on the chin.
Either one.
Either or.
I'm not sure what the Latin is for legal.
Yeah, right.
The Chinicus or something?
I doubt it. But I'd rather do that and walk away knowing that Jesus would right that wrong at the end than push forward and just say, I just want justice. I just want justice.
Yeah, and to say I just want justice and so I'm going to attack this a fellow believer is you're trying to take on being God.
Yeah.
You're trying to bring justice to someone and that's not your job.
And at what expense? Yeah, what do? You malign the name of Jesus?
Right, exactly. Besmirching the name of Christ, as this says.
Do you see any room in there for, in that passage, for believers to sue each other? Like, are there exceptions, do you think, based on the principle? What do you say? Lauren?
I don't know. I don't see in the passage exceptions. Like, it doesn't explicitly say, except for this, you can do it, or except for that. But I do think, like Nathan's saying, if there's like a medical malpractice or something, and you've been hurt by a doctor or something doing something wrong and you're out thousands and thousands of dollars, I think that's okay. Even if they are a Christian doctor. If you can't afford these medical bills that somehow someone did you wrong, then yeah, I think it's okay to get some money back. But if you're just doing it because you want to be right and you want everybody and the court system to know that I, Lauren Cuevas, am right, then no. I don't think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and the way that commentary says it, I think points to one of the hardest things for American Christians in particular. What was it again? It's you have to be willing to be wrong.
Yeah, the Corinthians should have been willing to be wronged and defrauded in order to avoid besmirching the name of Christ and by attacking a fellow believer.
Yeah, in a country where we just really like individual rights,
Yes.
the idea of being willing to be wronged
Yes.
is just antithetical to American principles. But it's a core principle for believers.
It's a core principle, and this is coming from a culture that was more a community culture. And if he's saying it to a community culture,
And they were struggling. Yeah,
and they were struggling, it applies even more so now to an individualistic culture.
yeah, because you have so many Christians today who will be like, "Ah, it's just weak if you let yourself be wronged," and they'll grab the Old Testament and they'll find some passage about God raining justice down on people. They'll be like, "See, rain justice down." But time and again, the principle is to turn the other cheek,
Yeah.
right? But again, I don't think it's a hard and fast, verily, verily, I say unto you, don't ever sue anyone
Right. Yeah.
ever, amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I think we didn't even get into this, and I don't know that it's relevant other than the comment Paul makes about judging angels. I mean, how crazy is it to think that
And
that
just
we're
wait your
supposed to
turn.
handle our business down here on earth, this trivial matters, and do it in a respectable way because we're going to be given so much more authority at some point.
Yeah, just wait your turn. You'll have plenty of time to judge.
Yeah. What does that mean, right?
Just wait.
And it probably won't be that fun when we have a chance to do it.
I mean, I think it makes God's heart sad when he has to judge us. I don't think it brings him joy, so
Well, and we don't like facing these things because at the end of the day, you use the word, Nathan, is true. A lot of times this is just an issue of vengeance.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and honestly, there's therapy and there's comfort in talking it through with an attorney oftentimes. I have clients all the time who give me a set of facts and they say, well, what's my case? Do I have a case here? Will you take it on? And there's benefit to doing that because A, you figure out if you have a case, if there's, any there. But then also B, you kind of get to speak and I get to glean what you're after.
Yeah.
And usually from that third party, kind of neutral, I can see, oh, you're after justice. You really don't want the money, or you do want the money. You need it. And that's the real issue. And I can kind of narrow down what the issue is and then confront you with it. And then it's up to the client, I think, to make
Yeah.
a choice of what action do I pursue.
I like that. And that's where I think there's so much value in professions like law to know that your attorney is a believer. Because you're right. People are almost coming to you for biblical advice on the law, right? They're like, I have this circumstance. You're a believer. Should I do something here?
Yeah, there's a fine line with that because I never want to give my personal, there's a lot of times I get asked, what would you do? Right. And
Yeah.
putting me in their position. I find that question, I bristle at that because I don't want to say what I would do. I'm not in your life. I don't have your family. I don't have your obligations. But at the same time, I do clearly present the Bible and say, this speaks to me this way.
Yeah.
How does it speak to you? And I agree with you that I confront them with that and let
That's
them make
important.
their own choice.
It's so important. I think it's less important, even though there's value in the guy who, for example, is going to do your sheetrocking. Like, it's
Being a
nice if
Christian,
he's a
yeah,
believer.
Yeah.
There's much more high stakes involved, I think, when it becomes an attorney. So with that, actually, we're coming to the end here. I want to be sure people know how to reach you because it's actually, there's no real place to go and be like, oh, I want a Christian attorney. Where do I find one? Oh, ChristianLaw.com. Yeah. So Mulhall Zion LLC.
mz-llc.com.
mz-llc.com, or just Google Nathan Zion.
Correct.
There's not many of you
No,
out
there's
there.
not.
No, there's a couple Nathan Zions out there, but none in Ohio.
How dare.
There's a rapper in Britain, but I'm not him. Or hip hop.
There's a
maybe, I
lot
forget.
that's about to happen
Yeah,
in
there
our minds. Our minds are spinning. What we can do with this?
So no,
You need to
Nathan
meet him.
Zion, attorney, would be good. I would love to. I'd love to.
You
We're
can do his
gonna find him.
contracts
Yeah, right.
for his music.
Agent.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so go check out mz-llc.com or just Google Nathan Zion. And we have some reminders for you as we wrap up.
Yes, if you like the show, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. And if you love the show, become a member on Patreon for $5, $10, or $15. That's just a bunch of extra content you get every single week. You get Pause for Prayer, you get More on Moment, you get videos from Daria, you get blogs from Daria, you get episodes that are ad-free, and the cold opens where we're just in here yapping together.
See?
Yes,
It's worth it.
I think so. $5, come on.
All right. Thank you, Attorney Nathan Zion, Esquire of Mulhall Zion LLC. I'm sure he'll be back soon, but that does it for today's edition of the Third Place Podcast.